What's up all you cool cats and shop rats? Welcome back to Real Hard Garage. We've got a very special video planned for you guys today. Barn find rescue. We're going to rescue a car that's been sitting for about 15 years or so. Very special car. It's not going to be easy to get it in the shop. So that's what we're going to do first, and then later in the video stick around because I'm going to cover what our plans are with this car and why it's so special to us. So stick around, check it out. Hope you guys like the video today.
The thing is, Richard, your back tire on this side is not rolling. So.
All right, well, we got to get this thing off the trailer because the brakes are stuck. That was not part of the plan. As you can see, we've got some goofy, unsafe shit going on here with this winch that's chained down and a jumper. My brother's idea is to snatch block it, as you can see, off the back and hook to the front there. And even though that's not a snatch block, the idea is to hopefully pull it backwards. So don't try this at home, kids. It's working, but that is not ideal to be using for a snatch block. This is hella dangerous. But if we can get these wheels onto the ground here, and hopefully as far back as into the garage, then I can jack it up and pull it into the garage without worrying about the back tires. That is the goal. Alright, next hokey ass hillbilly plan here. Now that we got the ass end far enough back in the shop, we got to figure out how to get it to roll. So we're going to try to shimmy it in here by using these two floor jacks under the frame with a piece of wood. And we're going to try to jack it up and roll it off the trailer into the garage. That didn't work. As you can see, we got something else rigged up here, and this is pretty much our last ditch effort other than getting another person here with another jack. This wheel's actually free, which last night it was dragging. Now the front one is stuck, which wasn't last night, so this whole plan was based off the fact that the front wheels were free, and that's what's screwing us. But I'm confident we'll get it. We're getting close. Let's try this ratchet strap idea. We got it strapped to this vice stand, and I don't know, let's see what happens. In the shop. Here it is. This is a 1953 Ford Customline 2-door Club Coupe. Okay, so they had a couple different versions of these cars, and this is the last year of the flathead, and we still got the flathead in there. It's still on a 6-volt system. The thing that's different about this car than other 2-doors, if you look at the window here, you see how short this window is and how this roof starts to slope back right after your B-pillar here. That's what makes it a Club Coupe. They made a 2-door sedan that had a much longer roof. So it's still a 2-door, but you had much more room in the back. You had a longer roof line in the back, and those are much more common to see. This is a... Take a quick look around on the interior here. Got the fuzzy dice. Smells like an old car. This was my wife's grandpa's car, and you know, she helped him get it ready for car shows, put those fuzzy dice in the windows, get everything shined up, and take it to car shows and, you know, show it off. Her grandpa bought this in 1985. It was his pride and joy. He loved this car, and he passed away recently, and the family was going to just sell it off and sell it to some, you know, random Joe. And I love cars too much, and it meant a lot to her, so we couldn't let that happen. So we jumped in, we bought the car, and now it's a new project, which is perfect because I've been looking for something as a project that not only the family can enjoy, but my kid can help me with. She needs to learn how to work on some stuff, and that's what we're going to do with this. It was a runner before it sat. He used to take the shows all the time, so there's some things we're going to have to get sorted out. The tires are stuck, as you've seen. Getting it in the garage was not easy, but I think that we can get it running, and the goal is to get it going by April 30th so that we can take this thing to Vintage Torque Fest. So if you don't know what Vintage Torque Fest is, check it out. It's a really awesome car show, but our goal is to get this thing running and drive it to Vintage Torque Fest. Today is March 12th, I believe, so that gives us about a month and a half to get this thing going in and running shape. So wish us luck. So first things first here, who knows if this battery is any good. I'm going to throw this 6-volt charger on it, try to get some juice in it, see what we can do. I'm sure the carburetor is going to need to be gone through, the brakes are going to need to be gone through, all the fluids, all that stuff. So yeah, here we go. Charger's on. I pulled all these caps on each of these cells here. Made sure that we've got water in them, or plenty of liquid. Now what we're doing, as you see, we've got all the wires off. We've got them labeled 1 through 8. And now we're gonna take these spark plugs. We're gonna try to pull the spark plugs out, get you know, so there's no compression on the engine. So we'll pull these out and see if we can get something on there and crank down there and get it to spin over. Once we're, you know that the engine's freed and spinning, then we can figure out if this battery is going to charge, which I don't have much confidence, or if we're just going to slap a new one in there and see what happens. So as you can see here, I've numbered these 1 through 8. And it's not because it matters where they go back, but once we get this engine cranked over and we're trying to get it running, you know, I'm going to look at the condition of each one of these, what the plugs look like, do a compression test on each cylinder, see what they look like, and try to kind of create a, you know, an analysis of what's going on inside the engine. Is everything okay? What needs to be looked at? I don't think anything's going to be necessary this year that's too crazy, but it's good information to have. gauges are going. Oh. I think the starter's turning. So what we're going to do here to try to determine if the battery is losing all of its volts, or if it is, doesn't have enough cranking amps. When we actually crank it over, we're going to try to watch and see what our voltage drops to. So we're going to go to the meter here, and we're going to set it to minimum. That's max, min. And we're going to pull off the charging cable, and then we're going to crank it. Now we're getting nothing. Nothing without the charger on. Oh yeah, look at how far we're dropping. So before it closes, I'm gonna get this battery. I'm gonna get this battery swapped out. I'm gonna go buy a new battery, get that in, eliminate the whole battery screwing around thing, and that'll give us time to let our PB blaster soak in here. And if we get all this going, then we can get this baby pulled outside and get all this gross salt off it from the hull home. This thing probably hasn't seen salt in a very long time, so we don't want to leave it on there. No more fucking around. We're going to slap this puppy in, and we're going to try to crank her over, and I've got lots of confidence that this is going to do the trick. Place your bets now in the comments section. Am I an idiot? Is it going to start or no? Will not start, but alright, we already got stuff making more noises than we did before. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. We're turning over. Let's hit the horn for celebration. Yeah, buddy. Almost. Now she's interested. Now she wants to come out and work on it. Oh, I'm getting excited now. So, we don't have any spark plugs in it. We're able to get it crank over. So, that's good news. We're going to throw these old spark plugs back in just to try to get this thing cranked over. We need some starting fluid in it. Try to get it to fire. And if we can get it fire and get some fuel pumping in it, get it to run, get it to idle. I already checked the oil. The oil's pretty good. Then all we got to worry about is this tire and getting the thing outside and getting the salt washed off it. And I would say we had a very successful rescue mission for this barn find. So I'm pumped. So let's get this back together and let's make some magic. All right, we got the spark plugs in, all hooked back up. We took the top off the air cleaner, soaked it down real good with some carb cleaner, let it soak and work in there. And let's see what happens. Alright, well it cranks, that's definitely a start. Alright, well, now we gotta get fuel up here. I don't know if we've got any gas in it or not. It smells horrible. I mean, it's been sitting for long enough. I pretty much assumed that. But we had to give her a crank and see what happened. So we'll dump that out, clean it out here with some carb cleaner, and we'll put some fresh gas in the bowl and try to crank it again. So I'm going to put a little bit of fuel in here, but as I was doing that, I found this knob back here, and I spent a whole lot of time trying to figure out how in the hell to get this thing off. Well, it turns out you loosen this knob that's right on the back of it, and the whole thing comes off. Duh. Well, I don't seem to be pumping fuel, so I'm not sure there's actually fuel in the gas tank. We did put some fresh stuff in the bowl there, but it doesn't seem to be pumping out to here, so it may need something behind it. But putting gas in there, having this hooked up, we should be starting. Alright, so no spark. We got voltage to the coil. So we're gonna take some little strip of little green sanding cloth type shit, and we're gonna rotate and open these points up, and then we're gonna clean them up. We're gonna clean the contacts of the points up. Two things without getting crazy that I would imagine could be bad is either the coil or the condenser on the points. Both relatively cheap parts, not the end of the world, but both definitely going to keep us from getting started right now. So we're going to try to clean these up, and hopefully that does the trick. So we've got this cleaned up. The next thing we're going to do, or the next thing we did, is we rotated it around and closed the points. You can see they're closed, and what we're going to do real quick is we're going to force these open with this little awl right here, little pick, and we should see a nice spark between there and no arcing anywhere else except for there. Let's see if we get it. There we go. So I would say the coil is good. So let's try this again. Oh yeah, it's on. Oh yeah, come on baby. Turn the choke on. Come on baby, come on. All right, well, we fixed the spark. So let's try to add a little bit more gas to this. See if we can get it to pump, because I think our two biggest issues right now are we've got a leak on the carburetor. Got a leak on one of these seals. I don't know if it's the bowl, or I don't really know too much about these carbs yet, but we got some gas leaking over here. We're not pumping anything into the filter from the pump. Alright, since we're not pumping fuel, we don't know why, rig this up. We got a fuel line going over here. So now we know we got hopefully some gas in the bowl, and if it starts pumping fuel, then well, we'll have fuel all over the place, but at least it'll be pumping. Let's try it. As you can see, so that's more success, but it takes a lot of effort, and we need something a little better than that. I've been using heat and PB blaster and hammer and heat and PB blaster, and this thing is just kicking my ass. We've got it started. It's not running, but it starts. We've got the wheel busted loose. We've got an idea of what things we need to do to go from here. We're going to be able to roll it out and wash it, so that was my goal that I was trying to accomplish. Before we end today's video, I want to share some special stuff that I've got that belonged to the car. Her grandpa kept it, and I think it's really neat and adds to the story of the car itself. So as you can see here, you can see there, that is the car listed at number 221. This is the book that her grandpa had when he went to the auction and actually purchased the car. It was Cruise International, some Perkins Auto Museum. I'll get to that in a second, but this is the actual book that he had. He put his bid in there. This is actually the sticker, the winning sticker off the car, which is very cool. There's the agreement to pay for the car, the receipt for the car. Assuming this was in the window of the car when it was up for auction. A letter, just welcoming the visitors to the auction. And he's got some other stuff here that goes over who the original owner was, or who owned it before the museum did. And then I'm going to read this real quick, which is just a snippet from a newspaper actually talking about this auction and where these cars came from, which I think is super cool. Oil magnate, I don't know how to say that. Oil magnate sells his antique cars, Cambridge, Ohio. More spectators and buyers turned out as oil magnate Floyd Perkins and his wife Bonnie liquidated their 30-year-old collection of antique and classic cars. Perkins joined the crowd under the yellow and white tent Wednesday and said very little as the cars rolled onto the green ramp where tuxedo-clad auctioneer Dean Cruz egged on bidding. Perkins, founder and owner of the multi-million-dollar oil drilling that bears his name, had decided to sell his collection because a couple is spending more time in Florida than they are in Ohio, Cruz said. The cars were in nearly mint condition, the auctioneer said. The oldest car on the auction ramp was a 1913 Ford Touring Brass that brought $6,700, Mrs. Perkins' personal car. The 1980 Rolls-Royce Silver Shadow brought $45,000. A 1965 Lincoln four-door hardtop, once driven by former President Eisenhower, brought $8,750. So just real cool history. Adds to the story of the car. Of course, it meant a lot to my wife's grandpa, so it means a lot to us. So stay tuned. Don't forget to subscribe. Hit the bell. We got a lot more videos coming on this car, plus we got other stuff planned in the future. Like I said, we are going to Vintage Torque Fest, or planning on going to Vintage Torque Fest. I feel like that's a very feasible idea now that I've got my hands on the car. And moving forward, we're going to have a bunch of videos in this series, kind of like our road to Vintage Torque Fest, getting this thing ready for Vintage Torque Fest. The family's going to get their hands dirty on it. So check us out next time. Thank you for watching. Peace.